And then what you all are interested in for this particular exercise is to go into databases to find articles. And basically what we do is we have about $200,000 is all we have to spend on databases for the whole district. That money used to come from something called TTIP. The state, the Department of Finance, in all of its infinite wisdom, wiped that money away 2 years ago. So this money is now currently being provided by, within our district still. There's a slim possibility that one package, about $50,000 worth of databases, is going to come back through state money to all the community colleges, so they all have a baseline. But right now, Los Rios is making up this money, which is problematic, because then what happens is things get cut off all the time, and we have this whole balancing act to try to fund databases that cover the whole curriculum, because we teach so many different things. So anyway, when you come into this list, it shows you the different databases that we provide, and you can see here we've got them kind of categorized by different categories. And so science would be one logical place to go immediately. The other place to go is this Academic Search Premier, which is our general database. And I kind of messed around in it a little bit, because the access that we have to Science Direct isn't very good, because we don't have the money to pay for the full version of it. So if we go into Academic Search Premier, for instance, when you click on that at home, that's when it's going to come up and ask you to put in your logins. Okay. So how many of you have actually gone in and searched one of these databases before? So not that many of you. So like a third of you. So what you can do here is put in something. So is anybody doing galactosemia? I'm going to pick something that somebody's doing. So,
neurotoxin.
Vitamin H.
Vitamin H. What was yours?
Neurotoxin.
Neurotoxin? Well, neurotoxin's really general, though.
Dang.
So, Olestra, all right. Well, let's just, all right, we'll do Olestra. So, depending upon what you want to do, you just, or vitamin H, whatever. So you just put in the basic word to start out with, and see what happens. So what we find out is we have 349 hits on that term. And what you always want to do, the first thing you always want to do is come over here to the side and click on that full text link. Because what you don't want to do is go find the perfect article and then figure out we don't own the full text of it. There's about 2 million articles in this database from about 4,000 different magazines, but only 70% of them are actually full text. So it's better to just get rid of that right off the bat. Depending upon your topic, you see here it starts in 1987, it goes up to 2010. Because Olestra is a fake cholesterol, right? Yeah. Right, or yeah, did they put it in food or something? Or?
Like they use it in chips a lot.
Okay.
Well, not a lot,
but yeah. So you might be interested in the older articles about it to find out kind of where it came from and whatnot. So in this particular case, you might want to leave this alone. If you're looking at some, something that has radically changed recently, and you are only interested in the most recent stuff, then you can mess around with this date and say you only want to see the stuff from 2008 to 2010 or whatever. So that's where you can control the date. So let's go ahead and hit update here. And what we'll see is that this number is going to decrease. The 349 goes down to 218. So quite a few of those articles were not available to us full text. Then what you do is you start kind of looking at these different titles, and typically the way this database puts your results back up is the most recent. See, it's not doing that. So in the past, it would automatically do last in, first out. So the most recent articles would be on the top. But see, that's August 2006. This is February 2002. So it's not set up that way. You can play with this sort up here if you wanted to. And you could say date descending, date ascending. But the way it's set up right now is by a relevance search. So this particular article had the word Olestra in the title, and it had it the most times in the full text of it, and it had it the most times in the subject headings and stuff attached to it. So that's why it's the most about Olestra. So if we go into the actual article, you click on the title of it, and then scroll down here. And so you can see it tells you who the authors are, what the source is. And so the source is this journal named Food Reviews International, August 2006. It's an article. You don't want book reviews and stuff, and we didn't set this to only scholarly articles yet. So, and then these are the subject headings that are attached to it. And so you can use these subject headings. You can click on triglycerides, and it'll take you to all the articles about triglycerides. So this is all hyperlinked system here. And then if you scroll down here, here's some keywords that are attached to it. And then this article apparently comes out of the, that's it, because here's the USDA mentioned here. But so one thing that you can do to quickly go through these 100 articles and find the one or two that you want to use is read this abstract. So all of these articles contain an abstract, which is basically a one-paragraph summary of what's in the article. So you can skim this really fast and say, okay, this looks good or this doesn't look good. And if you want to see the full text of the article, you just click here on PDF full text. Some of these exist in HTML and PDF. If you want to see the graphics inside of an article, all the graphs and everything, you have to be in the PDF version. The graphics don't appear in the HTML versions. And so here's what it looked like in the actual magazine or journal. And so there's all the pictures that are in there. If you want to email this home to yourself, just click on this email link right over here. And then just fill this out. Email to your address, subject, and then if you scroll down, you just hit the send button right there. There's also you pretty much want the detailed citation, the abstract, but you can set this to send it to you in MLA format. So the MLA citation will be at the top, and you pretty much just copy and paste that into your works cited list, other than putting down where you found it. So
Would it still ask you for your Los Rios identification card details if you send it to yourself in email?
If you're doing this at home, when you originally click that thing that's at Academic Search Premier, that's when it's going to ask you for those credentials.
Okay.
And once you're in it, then it won't ask you again for them. Yeah, and it'll ask you, I believe, each time you switch out to a different database. Okay? So let's go ahead and go back here. Let's see. This is kind of screwy because I've got in the lockdown mode. It's not as easy to go back and forth. Okay, here's our 218 results. If we go down here and say we only want to see scholarly peer-reviewed, let's just see what this does to it. Because Olestra was probably written about in the popular press, we might lose a few things and we lose a lot of things. So now we're down to 50 articles that were in peer-reviewed journals. So again, depending upon what your topic is, if your topic had something to do with NMR or with protein electrophoresis or something like that that's not really talked about in the popular press, then clicking this button the scholarly peer-reviewed button isn't going to change your results very much. So, but that's just something to pay attention to. So whenever you run a search in EBSCO, type in the keyword or two, and then set your limiters, always full text, probably do the scholarly peer-reviewed, and then set the dates if you want, and then you'll have some articles to look at. Yeah, see, here's this one, review article, Olestra and its gastrointestinal safety. So this type of article, review article is a nice thing for you guys to see, because what a review article does is it takes all the current body of scientific knowledge, and so they'll go look at all these other articles, and then they'll summarize what's going on in those articles. And ideally, that's what you all want to be looking for, are review articles. So one way you could do that is you could do it this way, and actually put this in quotes. So then what you're doing is you're looking for those two words right next to each other, and then hit search here. And see, we yanked just that one single article. So that's probably the only Olestra review article that's in this particular database. There's plenty more out there, but that's what we've got access to. And so you can see in this one, it's in element.